What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with another top 6 video, and today we are taking a look at top 6 beginner dinos you should tame. Now, if you've been to my channel before, you'll see that we have a previous version of the video, probably one of the first ARC videos that I ever actually made. Well, this video here is going to be just a shorter, quicker update on the dinos you should tame first, due to some of these dinos not being out when I made that last video, and just my opinion changing on a few things. So we're going to get straight into the list and kick it off with number 1. Number 1 is the Dilo. This guy is really useful because obviously he's a really easy tame. You can knock him out with your fists when you first spawn as a survivor. Granted, you'll probably have to have a little bit more health, and it'll have to be a rough mid-range level for you to actually knock him out. But then obviously all you need is a few scraps of meat and you're easily able to tame these guys up. Now these guys are useful because even one of them, you can get a whole pack of them, say 3 or 4 of them, and because of their spit attack, they are able to slow down enemy dinos as well as blind PvP players that come after you. So a whole pack of these guys is really useful for that. Now, as well as that, you could, use 4 of them to distract a larger carnivore and run away yourself. Maybe even save 3 of them while one of them stays behind and distracts the enemy that is fighting you, which makes these guys pretty invaluable. And they're pretty much everywhere on the island in your location that you need. So if you ever run out of them, you can easily run up to them with your fists, or say your club, or even like a single trank arrow to the head is able to knock most of these guys out. So that's why these guys are number 1 on this list. Now, number 2 is the Equus. This guy is a really easy tame. All you have to do is sneak up behind him, feed him some Mejo berries or carrots. Carrots are their second favorite behind Trudon kibble. And then what will happen is you'll get a prompt to ride him, and you'll pretty much start bucking around, running all over the place, and you have to feed him as he bucks and gets wild. Now you can see on that little flame, next to that flame is where that notification appears, letting you know when to feed the Equus, and eventually he will calm down and you'll tame him. And then you'll have yourself a really good mount. Now this guy doesn't require a saddle to ride him. You can see here we're able to ride him without a saddle. However, he also does have a saddle at level 20 that you unlock, which is really good because he's obviously a low level saddle and you can get him. Granted, you could substitute him for a trike, however trikes are much slower, and in my opinion the Equises have slightly better weight than the trikes and they're much more mobile. Now you can see he starts off with pretty good stats. This guy was a level 25 tame. He's got 570 health and 400 weight, 784 stamina. These guys can run like crazy, and as well as that they're also able to jump, and their jumping distance is pretty far. Now, aside of that, you can also get a unicorn variant of this, and who doesn't want their very own unicorn? I did manage to tame mine up in one of my servers that I started. However, things have happened and you'll find out. So pretty much as well as this guy also has a bucking attack there, you can see, which deals torpor damage to enemies. So you can use this guy to potentially knock out future tames or future players that try and come up against you. So this guy is really invaluable for that. As well as that, his saddle acts as a mortar and pestle, which you unlock at level 20. You also need the smithy to make his saddle, as well as to keep that in mind if you're planning on taming these guys up. But like I said, you don't actually need a saddle to ride these guys. Now, number 3 is the Iguanadon. This guy is really useful because much like the Equus, he's a really good sprinter and he's got quite a good carry weight on him. Doesn't have as good as an Equus, and he's probably slightly slower than the Equus as well, but he does not utilize stamina at all while running on his quadrupedal form, which is really useful. Now, as well as that, he does have a single primary attack with thumb. I call it the thumb screw attack because he's got thumbs on his little hand. You see one there peeking out underneath the stone, and pretty much that stabs into the enemy and deals 31 damage, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good amount of damage, and I'm pretty sure 31 is a base damage. It should be on one of my Ark Insight videos if you guys want further clarification. But yeah, this guy's really good. Like I said, stamina utilization is really well. Now his saddle cost is level 30, so within your first few hours of playing Ark, you could probably easily reach level 30 using the explorer notes scattered around the island, and using your previous tames, the Equus, the Dilo, to actually get kills and earn lots of XP. Now number 4 is the Pteranodon. This guy is obviously your first flyer that you're probably going to tame because he has the lowest saddle level requirement at level 38, which I still think is a bit high, but it's only 8 levels higher than the Iguanadon, which when you think about it isn't that much higher. Now this guy is obviously you're going to use him to scout out potential base locations, avoid any land-based dinosaurs that are trying to eat your face off. So this guy's really useful for that. As well as that, he's also one of the fastest flyers, I believe. Second, if not third, to the Griffin and the Wyverns. So, you know, you're obviously going to use this guy to scout out potential tame locations, base locations, enemy base locations, and he's really good for that. Now, number 4 is the Direwolf. Much like the Equus, this guy does not require a saddle to ride. You can see there we're able to ride him without the saddle. However, he is probably slightly harder to tame as they travel in packs. So your only problem you're going to have with trying to tame up a Direwolf is singling one out of the pack and, you know, drawing him to you and managing to get a high enough foothold so that you're able to knock him out without dying from trying to knock him out, obviously. And, you know, once you knock this guy out, tame him up, you know, he's not that hard. Few raw prime meats from, say, like a Diplodocus or something like that, even a Sarco, you could easily tame this guy up, even with raw meat still. Now, as well as that, he is rather powerful. He does have a single attack. He does have a howl, however, that doesn't do anything, which is kind of annoying. You know, even a little buff would be great. But, you know, you've got yourself a pretty strong mount. The only downside is that, obviously, they're going to be a lot harder to tame due to them being in packs, and the fact that he doesn't have a saddle for that extra armor protection. But other than that, he does have a pretty good amount of health, stamina, and melee damage, so you could easily take out a low-level Rex, even a mid-range level Rex with one of these guys. Now, number 6 is the Sarco. This guy's saddle requirement is level 35, and he's just a beast. You can pretty much ride this guy up the waterways of Arx, through the swamps of Ark, which dominate a lot of the map on the island. For example, all that mid-river bit is, you know, swampland. You could easily ride the Sarco through that and he gets his speed boost. He doesn't utilize oxygen, so if you decide to go deep sea diving, you could take him with you to gather silica pearls, oil, even deep sea loot crates, because, you know, this guy is pretty much fits the bill for everything. He does have quite a bit of health on him and quite a bit of melee damage. His weight is a little bit lacking as well as his stamina, but, you know, you can easily bump that up with a few levels. And like I said, his saddle requirement is level 35, so, you know, they're not too bad. You could easily tame one of these guys up, and their turning radius makes it easier for you to tame them. You can run around a rock and knock this guy out at the same time. Alrighty guys, that'll be it for this refined version of the video. Let me know what you guys thought of it down below. Let me know if you agree with these dinos. I personally agree with a lot of them. I think my opinion has changed over the time of playing more and more Ark. And hopefully you guys agree with me. But other than that guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.